Are we live? Are we live? I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. What up, my beautiful nerds? Today on BJJ Tech Nerd Podcast, Ari, also known as Jits Mommy on Instagram. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay. We were just having this conversation about our kids and whatnot, but we're going to dive into that conversation a little bit later. Ari, I want to say thank you for coming on today. And I want to say, as a parent, what made you decide to strangle people for fun?
Well, I kind of have
How'd you fall into Jiu Jitsu? Two answers, okay.
Yeah. So, I actually grew up, and my brother owns a gi gym in Surrey, Ishindo Martial Arts. If anyone wants to check it out, BC, Canada. And he had been doing martial arts and karate and whatnot since he was like 4. But my parents were the, you don't want to mess up your face and that kind of stuff type of parents. Yeah. So I kind of never really was, I don't want to say not allowed, but I was kind of pushed away from that whole life. And then I eventually put both of my daughters into a gi gym at like 4 and 6 at the time. And I was just watching them and I'm like, this looks like so much fun. That, and also in a few years, they're going to be able to beat my ass if I don't, am I allowed to say ass?
You could say whatever you want.
Like, they're going to be able to beat me up if I give them rules. So I better get on this pretty quickly. And I tried it and just fell in love. And now I'm like, this is my outlet.
Oh, for sure. My son is already beating me up on a daily. He's just randomly like punching my ass and running away.
That's how it is with my small one too.
They're crazy at home. Like I tell this to my wife. It's like, why are kids crazy at home? But then I hear that he's such a good boy at school. I'm like, are you sure? Is this my son you're talking about? He like punches me, runs away, or sometimes, or you know what he does? He just comes up to me, he farts on me, he says, I farted on you, and he runs away. I'm like, dude, that's a hit and run. You can't do that. You go to jail for stuff like that. It's a hit and run. But they're so cute. And I was telling you before, like I just got him started on boxing his first class. It was so cute. These little kids. They don't know what they're doing. It's adorable.
Jiu-jitsu?
I'm gonna see. He's saying it often. Jiu-jitsu, and because I got a medal, and he sees me. I'm going to jiu-jitsu side, and he gets excited. So he's just saying it, but he saw the older kids do it, and he's like, "Mommy, am I next?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the older class. We'll see next week, but we'll see how it goes." He'll look cute in his little gi. I think
they're like one of my favorite things to watch. I feel like it's true, because ever since I watched the boxing class of the kids, it's so adorable. Everyone's at their own like rate. The age group was like 4 to 7, but some of them are just like, they all struggle in their own way. They can do well in punching, but some of them have like no balance. And my son has no balance when it comes to hopping on one leg, and it's like the cutest thing ever. Just want to squeeze him. That, and it's one of the most inspirational things to watch. I don't know if you've seen kids in competition yet, but that's like one of my favorite things. It like lights my fire.
I've seen on Instagram the Advanced Kids ADCC.
Oh,
what the hell is wrong with these kids? They're that's scary.
I was at the one in Long Beach watching it, and I think it was is it Nakoa? One of Andy Varela's kids. And one of the kids from, I think, AOJ out here, and they were just, I was watching them, I'm like, they are more technical than like 90% of the adults here.
It is mind-blowing. I wouldn't want to roll with any of those kids. Just the technique, the speed, the technique, the precision, the execution. I can just go on. Like, they're already like these amazing athletes under the age of 10.
And you know what it's like now to compete, and like that mental, game that you play with yourself. And I just watch these kids that are doing it, and I'm like, what is my excuse?
My first comp, because you said mental game, I was perfectly fine for my first competition. Right up until the last 24 hours, I couldn't sleep. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" I have like this nausea, this that sickness or that in your gut where it's like you can't eat. I couldn't eat. I'm like, it's a local tournament. What am I doing with myself here?
Were you able to sleep?
As soon as my feet, no, I think I went to sleep because I just mentally exhausted myself. It was probably like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just like my body just shut down because I was just tired of stressing, I guess. And then the next day, I went for like I don't know what it was, like a 3 hour road trip. It wasn't that bad, but it was long enough for my ass to fall asleep. And then we got there was a huge delay of like 4 more hours. So that day was so long. I was like, my wife's like, I told my wife, I want to go home. I'm just tired.
Yeah. Yeah. After you just want to go home and like burrito yourself in a blanket and you're like, pass me the snacks. Just don't talk to me.
That's what I was feeling. That even before the match, like I just want to go home, blanket, movies. I'm never doing this again. That's what I'm never doing this again. Why do we stress ourselves with this crap? And then my feet touched the mat. I'm like, okay, I get it now. This is fun. It's not like we're gonna kill each other in a way, but not like it was fun in the end. Do you like being a parent and like preparing for competitions? Like, what's your training schedule like?
So that is the part that kind of sucks. Because I feel like my kids, if I'm being fully honest, I feel like they totally lose out on mom for like 6 weeks. I'm kind of like, I feel like there's no point in competing if you're not going to do your whole preparation the right way, because then you sit there and you're like, I lost because I didn't do what it takes or whatever. Or even if you win, it's like you want to feel prepared all the way, and at your best. So for me, I try to take like 6 weeks, and I'll go at least like 6 days a week, sometimes even 7, and sometimes I'll do 2 classes like back to back. And then I will, well, for me too, it's a little different because I drive. My gym is like 45 minutes away, and then San Diego, I pop in there too, and it's an hour and a half away. So I'm kind of like, if I'm driving, then it's best to do, at least make it worth it and do 2 in a row. But it's kind of crappy when it comes to balance with the kids. And I try to, if I'm there during the daytime, I'll do night classes, and then I'll come back when it's past their bedtime already by the time I get home. So I'm kind of with them all day. And then my training is nighttime. And then if I have like that day off, then I try to do something fun with them, and make it like an adventure or something where I'm just 100% plugged in, so that they feel like they're like, getting quality time with me.
Yeah. It's crazy though, but like being a parent, it is a crazy balance, and it's different for everyone. Like the fact you said like 6 to 7, I'm like, God damn it, Marco, you gotta take up your game. What is this? Because I do steady twice a week, but I'm trying to hit that third marker. And the thing is, I work from home 80% of the time, but I tell myself, oh, I'm gonna get tired, this and that, but I can do 3 times. I could do it. It's just that I have to find that right balance for me, like working from home, making time for the kids. And as my son gets older, like he's getting like homework now and all that stuff. Oh, no, there's homework. There's more events, and he's starting boxing, and he might start jiu-jitsu. So everything's gonna shift now. But I really want to hit. So when you say 6 to 7, I'm like, God damn it, Marco, come on, step up your game.
That's only when I'm competing. Like generally.
Let's see, on an average area.
Yeah. Right now, I would say I probably would do like 4 days a week, and maybe 5 if I'm lucky.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm lucky. But at the same time, I kind of feel like if I'm not, hitting it that hard, then I start falling off. And then I'm like, I didn't go yesterday, so I don't want to go today. And then maybe I don't want to go tomorrow. And it gets harder and harder to like really push myself, like in the roles and whatnot. I start finding more and more excuses. So I feel like it's better to just kind of buckle down and be like, okay, I'm going to just make it work. I'm going to make it happen. And then, kind of figure out your schedule around it, if that's, what makes you happy.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was saying to my wife, like I'm gonna figure it out. I'll just do like a Monday morning class, so this way Monday night he can have his boxing, and then on Tuesday, let's say Tuesday night will be for him, but we'll just go back and forth because he's at the 5:30 class and I'm at the 8 o'clock night class. So I'm blessed for this, and now you might hate me for this. My gym is about 10 minutes away, so I really can't complain. Please don't hate me.
Yeah.
But it's 10
No, I
minutes
don't hate
away,
you.
so it's just...
Yeah.
I don't hate you. Damn it, Marco. Don't complain. An hour and a half. I do an hour and a half.
There's gyms closer to
it's
me,
funny
but I messed up because I drove down to Boogie's gym in San Diego, and it just changed the game for me, you know, competition-wise. They're literally always in camp. It's like if you're not competing, someone else is competing. So the energy in the room is like camp 24/7.
Yeah, that's nice.
You walk in and he's like, let's fucking go. There's like heat lamps and like crazy like drum and bass or like Marilyn Manson or something intense, and people are just murdering each other.
Well, that's what it takes sometimes.
That and then experienced Gio's gym, I was like, it's worth it for me, even if I train less, to like trek out further, because it's like such a higher level of like training and teaching and like teammates. Like so many people are competing. And I feel like it's hard too to find a solid group of women. I don't know how it is in your gym. Do you have women in your gym?
Yes. We have about, I'll say in our class, there's in an average about 25 to 30. There's always about, let's say, 6 to 8 women on average.
That's so good.
That's not bad. And there's also some younger girls coming in that are murderers. All the young ones that are now passing like 12, 14, they're killers.
Because they've been doing it since childhood, right?
Yeah, they probably started around 8 years old, 7 years old, and now like obviously they murder everyone. Double gold all the time. Yeah, obviously. But
do you have good female competitors too?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you have good female competitors there as well?
I would say I would give a big shout out to one of my friend George and Susie. They have a daughter named Anna, and I believe Anna is, I'm not sure if she's 12 or 13, but this girl's a beast. This girl, she's so petite, but she's so technical. I would say, like, for a competitor that really stands out at my gym, it's this girl here, Anna. Like, she just, like, it's so beautiful to watch her, like, even, like, work on the older girls, and, like, she's giving them trouble, and some of them are, like, 30, 40. It's like, wow. Like, you think power because they're stronger. No way, man. This girl's fucking flying. It's insane what she does.
I love that. Yeah, that's like so inspiring for me. Here, I think it's hit and miss. I feel like California, we are pretty lucky with how many jiu-jitsu places we have, and the women that compete and the women that are at gyms.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I've kind of solidified with those 2 10th planets, it's just crazy. Like Boogie's wife teaches a black belt class. Well, she's a black belt. She teaches a women's class Mondays and Fridays there, and they'll have like 18 to 20 women. And it's just wild. I've never seen anything like this before, where there's many women, you know, weekly. And it's like, you don't have to go and be intimidated and roll with random 200-pound men if you don't want to, you know, you can just kind of ease in with this, and you know, then you've made your friends and you have your little group, and it kind of creates that like buffer before you go straight into like a co-ed class, you know.
Man, I love like the 10th planet vibe. I have a 10th planet here in Montreal. By the way, a lot of you folks, you think I'm from the States, but I'm not. I'm from Canada. I speak French. A lot of people think I'm from New York. I'm not from New York. But here in Montreal, it's
Canadian accent. How do people fuck this up?
It's crazy because I get the accent, but the type of accent most people are thinking about is like, I think people from Saskatchewan, and it's a deep accent, and the whole A thing, like I don't think I talk like that, but when I encountered that type of Canadian before, that type of species of Canadian, let's call it, I was like, holy crap, that's really a thing? Like there's Canadians that talk like that? So I don't know how I sound, but apparently I sound from New York or some shit. But here in Montreal, it's slowly becoming like more known, like jiu-jitsu. We just got legalized late last year, and now it's slowly getting like jiu-jitsu and cage matches. legalized here in Montreal. We have so many laws in Quebec. It's so fucked up.
It wasn't legal before.
It wasn't legal before. We had to go like I think like people have to go like an hour outside of Montreal where it is legal and sanctioned. But now it's like now we're having like competitions in Montreal and stuff, so it's super exciting now. It's like it's at the point where it's gonna start rising. So that's why we see like the classes. When I first started, you see my tattoo here of 20. I have my tattoo of when I started, so that's how I know when I started. It's like my key point. So when I started in 2021, our classes were like 10 to 15 people, and 15 people is like, holy shit, the gym is packed. 15 people. Now it's like 40 is like packed. So it's awesome. In 3 years, it's just like our gym like doubled, and like he had to double the mat space, and that's awesome. Especially the no gi. I love. Yeah.
No gi is where it's at.
I did something crazy, Ari. You know what I did this week? I put back on my gi on the I tried gi. Yeah. Everyone's like, what the hell? What the fuck are you doing here, guy? I'm like, I want to see what this pajama slamming's all about. And I have notes, like every time I go, like, it's just like a log for every time I train, right? And I checked my last date. It was like July of last year. I'm like, holy shit, this is going to suck.
Yeah. I got a brand new gi and wow. I have not worn it yet. And nice. You got promoted, right?
I got promoted last late summer, something like that.
Okay, so I got promoted, and now I'm like, I haven't gotten to wear my belt yet. Like, I need to throw on a gi just so I can at least get a photo, like, with my belt on.
Look how clean this belt is. Not an ounce of blood or lint on it. I was like a newbie. Mine's like
still creased.
Yeah, it's like, look at it. It doesn't smell sweaty.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But
I'm like, do I need to schedule a pajama day just so I can, remember if I remember how to tie it and whatnot and get a couple photos.
I went on YouTube, of course, and looked at all these crazy knots, and people were telling me, don't do the super knot, because it looks nice. It's like super ninja style, all like nice and crisp and cut, because apparently it locks in and you can like do lapel stuff after or whatever. So I just did any random tie, and I look like a jackass. But you know what's funny, Ari? That doing no gi all the time, you just apply your no gi knowledge in the gi. You're gonna miss on grips, but Jiu Jitsu is just Jiu Jitsu, and I actually had fun. I was just more sweatier than usual, but it's like a sponge, so it picks up the sweat a bit. So that was pretty cool. When was the last time you did the gi? Actually, do you remember?
So I didn't catch what you said.
Yeah, that's all right. It cuts sometimes. My question was, when was the last time you did gi? That's the answer, folks. An age before time.
I don't know.
Last year?
Probably maybe like 6 months ago, 5 months ago.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Mine was July, bad. So you did before me. Well, now I just did this week, so I'm ahead now. So
okay, I need to catch up.
It's different. It's a different pace, I would say. I think the only thing I like about the gi is like whenever I'm full mount, I'm a little bit more grippier. That's it. That's all I can say. I feel more grippier. But besides that, I like
true.
my no-gi explosion.
Aha moment with gi. The first time that I was able to finish like a gi submission, I was like trying to get an RNC in, and I couldn't finish it with this hand. So I was like, let me just grab the lapel and pull it across, and then she tapped, and I was like, I was like, wait a second, I don't have to do all of the the hand fighting and do all these things. I can just use your own clothing. It's awesome.
Yeah, speaking of that, when I was like trained with her name is Mode, and she does gi and no gi, and we're doing some drills, and I made her take my back, and I completely forgot you can choke someone cross collar like this, and for a split second I'm just like protecting my ears because I thought she's gonna go for the like, and she just snuck in and did one of these, and holy shit, that's tight. I managed to get out, but
Yeah.
like these things, they mess with your head. All these spider guards and all this crazy shit they have, lasso, whatever the hell they're called. It's too complicated for
Yeah,
me.
it's wild. I don't know. I just
I might go back.
usually, I think the last the last time I went to it was like a check mat. Do you guys have check mats out there?
I don't think we do. Not in Montreal. I don't think so. Maybe in somewhere else in Ottawa. I think there could be.
Like traditional Brazilian, jujitsu. And at 10th Planet we like all of like the foot stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I go for this lady's ankle and she's like she taps immediately and she's like, no, 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 no. You're doing that 10th Planet stuff. You didn't even
That
want to
10th Planet
engage
stuff.
in it.
It's like worldwide now to go for the ankle. It's only 10th Planet stuff now. I love it. I love
know,
those
I'm
vibes
like,
though.
what? You guys don't do that here? I don't know.
That joke still lives on. It's like it's illegal. It's like a new world to them. Oh, you can't touch the feet or the ankle or.
I wasn't even doing anything crazy. I think I was just going for like a straight ankle or something, and I'm just like, I thought that was a normal, a normal move.
You just touched the ankle. You just wrapped around the ankle. Nope, disqualified. DQ'd.
Yeah, she was like, no, 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 no.
I want to get
How's
back
the
to
10th
on
Planet
the whole. Sorry,
How is the 10th Planet in Montreal?
I haven't been yet because I just it's not that I'm super loyal to my gym. I would like to go to other gyms because it's a cool experience to like see other people and because I know more people now, I guess because of the podcast and whatever. But I want to experience like different gyms too, just to like reach out with different vibes, like that. But it's on my to-do list. 10th Planet. There's other couple gyms on my mind I want to do, but yeah, it's on my bucket list. But I want to ask you, the whole competition, because you said like competition gives you like a purpose. I find before competition, I was that average like jiu-jitsu guy just going in to be in shape kind of thing. But the competition, whenever it is, like it's a month from now, 3 months from now, you book one for 6 months from now, it gives you such a purpose to look forward to that I'm so constant that it forces me to go to class more or not miss a class.
And you
I almost missed the class this
too,
week.
right?
Yeah. This week
gives you, like,
I
a whole different like method of training, I feel like, and intensity to your training. You're
absolutely.
like, I can't just like roll, I can't flow roll with you right now. Like we need to kind of kill each other right now.
Take it up to like 50%. Don't do no 10% on me. Give me at least 50,
Mm-hmm.
But even that intensity, like this week, I don't know what happened. My calf fucking locked up. And I was on the floor for like 20 seconds, and the guy's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I can't move right now." The muscles like separated or something. So I was just locked in for 20 seconds, but it was a bad pull on my leg. I still rolled the next day, but going home, I couldn't go down the stairs. It was horrible. But knowing that I have competition in 2 months, I said, screw this shit, and I still went the next day. So there's a little bit of that competition fire still in me. I can't quit, or else if I quit, I lost. Do you do you feel like whenever you're in competition mode, you can allow yourself to miss that one class, even though like you feel like you're in a little bit of pain?
No.
Or not really.
You can't.
I'll put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, you can't afford it. And what's funny is I was talking to Boogie about this actually, and he was telling me that he has never been injured ever. So he'll get like slightly sore. I mean, mind you though, they did used to break dance, so I feel like they like body movement wise and flexibility wise, like the dexterity is there. But he will tell himself like, I'm fine, and like I don't feel this and whatever, and just keep going. And it's like your body will eventually figure it out. You know what I mean? Unless it's like an actual injury where you ripped something or whatever, then you have to you got to take your time off. But like the typical, I mean, I'm 35, so I get like aches and pains every time that I train. I'm like, everything hurts.
Oh yeah.
My neck and my knees and like my shoulders, and I'm just like, I'm okay, and I'll just keep doing it anyway. If it's really bad, then I'll tell someone. I'll be like, hey,
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
avoid my ankle or my calf or whatever, you know,
Yeah, I think
in
there's
the
a
rule, but
difference.
you got to still do it.
100%. I think there's stuff as we get more experience, we know like uh a slight pain or like a workout pain versus okay, I'm injured because I
Yeah.
can have like a stiff neck or a stiff whatever. I hurt my leg, but I knew I could still go the next day, and I went, and now like I'm perfectly fine. It just maybe a little
Yeah.
bit. It's still tight, but it's not like. But then there's situations where like there was an accident, someone like fucking kicked me in my ribs,
Oh
and
no.
he was trying to like Gramby roll out of his, and he like fucking Gramby rolled into my rib, and yeah, even just grazing the ribs, it hurts, and it was a I had to make a decision. Like I'm not out, but it was really hurting. Like every time I would breathe, like it's the point where you deep breath, like oh shit, or you sneeze, it hurts. I'm like okay, damn it, this sucks. And I just took off a
I
week
wonder if it
because
was
I knew,
bruised.
that, yeah, it was probably like bruised or something. But there was like no like bruise marking. It was just like I don't see anything. It just hurts when I breathe.
Hmm.
And I took a week off, but then I was happy because imagine re-hitting that same area over and over. And I understand what it felt like to get like hit in the ribs. It's so annoying. Even
Yep.
coughing was killing me.
I
What
get
was
like that with my sternum.
mm,
I don't know why. I feel like when I first started jujitsu, it was sore for like 3 months. Like it
mhm.
never went away. And so sometimes I think maybe mine's like abnormal or something because the pressure, people do like chest pressure and stuff on me.
Yeah.
I'll be sore for like a good, like at least a couple days now. But either that or like it's finally developing the muscles
Hmm.
that it needs to deal with
Funny.
like being squished.
What was that like? What would be your like your or was your greatest injury? Let's say in jujitsu right now.
I don't think I've had anything that's too crazy. You know, I get like soreness like that, you know, but
Hmm.
I kind of continued anyway. And like feet things, you know,
Yeah.
where like I've had something's wrong with my foot right now and I don't really know what it is, but it's like on that uh like by your big toe.
Okay.
I think it's like my trail foot.
Okay.
So I think I just like hit it sideways or something. But it's
Oh
one of
yeah.
those things like you said where I keep hitting it on stuff. And so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like never fully healing. But
For,
you can't do anything about it. You know,
no.
it's not one of the things that you can like I mean, maybe I could wrap around it, but I don't know. I think I've been pretty lucky and I just have like a lot of aches and pains, but nothing too wild.
Yeah, I think the aches and pains are like standard. Like if you train and you don't have aches and pains, I question your training. Honestly, it's like no one's invincible, or maybe they are. I don't know. But like, there's always the fun stuff. Like Ari, for me, like what I had last year. Well, the whole what's it called? Staff. Yeah, staff. I had it on my neck.
Oh no.
Did you ever have one of those? Did you ever have an infection or a bad cut that led to something?
I have not actually yet,
Oh, good,
but
good.
I am kind of a psycho with like the defense soap immediately, and I think
Yeah,
it
yeah,
helps that I have to drive far. So I like right after training, I have to shower because I can't
yeah,
like
for sure.
get in the car and then drive, you know. So that might be like preventative that I'm like not wearing my
I think so.
clothes in the car or
Yeah,
whatever.
one
I
hundred
think
percent, 100%. Yeah, it's good that you do that because, like, luckily, like I said, I'm 10 minutes away. So even though I train at night, like I'm in the shower right away. I'm like putting like 3 4 layers of soap on me because I don't want that again. It's such a horrible
yeah,
experience. And also, I had like super. I don't know what happened to my feet. You mentioned your foot, so you just reminded me of something. I think after a while, we have to get our feet like a pedicure or something. Is it pedicure for your feet, right? Or
yeah.
manicure? No. Yeah, pedicure. I forget this shit. I don't know. Pedicure because my fucking feet were so dry. I'm like, holy shit! I think I need a man pedicure. It was like sandpaper. My wife's like, go to get it. No, I did it myself. Actually, treated myself.
Nice. Did you YouTube it?
Yes, I YouTubed it, like all jiu-jitsu people do. Have the scraper, then I put cream, and yeah. Now I'm silky
Wow.
smooth. Saved
You
myself
gotta
eighty
surprise your
dollars.
wife and do it to your
Sorry?
wife now.
No, my wife actually goes get her pedicure done, all that stuff. She go see my girl. I ain't seeing shit. I don't. No one. It's funny. I'm in jiu-jitsu, but I don't like strangers. like jiu-jitsu people touch my feet.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch my feet. Even when you go for a massage, don't touch my feet. Jiu-jitsu, we're rolling, you can touch my feet. Because I know what you're going for. I'm such a weird explanation, but that's how I feel. Oh, man. Jiu-jitsu, weirdness. Gi. No gi. Let me see. What is your go-to move? Do you have a go-to move? Like something that you're proud of, like you've been working on?
I have a few favorites, and I think that guillotine's one of my favorites, and straight ankles I feel like was actually one of the first ones that I was taught. So that's like a muscle memory situation, you know? But guillotines and like a mounted guillotine, it makes me happy. It's one of those happy moves.
It's perfectly normal. I understand that. It's like you find your zone, you find the move that you're comfortable with. I think if I would have some, I'm always trying to mix up stuff, but if I have my favorite, it's always the Kimura or an arm triangle or a Kimura from mount. I'm always trying to mix things up as I'm slowly improving, because I always tell people blue belt is like an advanced white belt. You're still getting smashed at times, and one day I'll reach a peak where I feel okay. But as long as I'm kicking the ass of the young guys, I'm happy. But yeah, man, those little. Do you get? Oh, that's what I'm asking. Do you get these BJJ blues? Do you experience that?
You know, I still don't feel like I'm a blue belt. I'm like, who gave me this? Like, why would you give this to me? I'm still a white belt. What do you mean I have to compete in blue purple now? Like, I don't want to.
I don't want this power, this responsibility.
Yeah, it's scary now, you know? I feel like you think that everyone's like, you know, tough and everything, but at the end of the day, like, I look at the competitors in my bracket and I'm like, dude, now I have to go against like UFC people and stuff like that. Like, do I even want to compete right now? Or do I like put it off for a little bit? I don't know. I definitely, you know, get in my head though about feeling like I'm still a white belt.
There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I think when I got my belt, I was like, okay, I gained something, a superpower. I was probably like on fire for like 1 or 2 days. But then slowly I saw like the intensity changing with people towards me. I'm like, hey, what's all this shit about? Why you guys like, it's no more like flow rolling, you know? It's like, okay, Marco, congratulations. Let's fucking test you now. Let's see how you really are. And yeah, I went through phases on and off. Like I questioned myself. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking quit. What the hell is this shit? I had like 2 bad weeks in a row. I was going through such like, I don't know. Tell my wife, fuck this shit. Yeah. It's garbage.
I think it's
why am I paying money to
it'll be like
be in spandex and get tapped out?
Yeah. It'll be the upper belts that will like haze you, right? And then it's the white belts that are like, now if we tap her, we've tapped a blue belt, right? And you're like in that
exactly
circle where you're like, damn it, I just want to go train.
Like, I can't mess up. But I think I'm slowly getting over that little hump. Like that, I've spoken to other blue belts, and I feel it is a real disease, I would say. But a lot of people are saying like the blue belt, it's gonna be like one of the hardest stages from going from blue to purple, because it's a crazy roller coaster of emotion. Like for me, white belt, I expect to suck. I expect to die. I expect to like, it's normal. I don't know anything. But blue belt, you feel this slight responsibility, or I don't know, extra stress for nothing.
It's like more power.
Yeah,
with more power, like more responsibility.
Responsibility. Exactly what I was gonna go for. That quote right there. Stupid belt.
Damn it! Now I have something to prove.
Man. But all in all, you would have to say you love jiu-jitsu, right? Do you ever picture yourself like stopping jiu-jitsu? No. Or you say, Marco, you're crazy?
Yeah, you're crazy.
I am crazy.
I think that it's probably different for everyone. The answer is different,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, I didn't do sports. I didn't do any type of competitive anything really. I started with like kind of light bodybuilding and like
Mm-hmm.
fitness and that kind of stuff. But that's a very solo journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not. I didn't do any competitions or anything like that. It was more of like a lifestyle, keep myself in shape,
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah blah. Um, but I never really had anything that I was passionate about, like even through childhood. And so I feel like I finally found that in this
Mm-hmm.
sport, and that was at like 34 years old, you know? So I'm
Think
like,
I was
I
the same
can't
age
do
too.
that,
Yeah.
you know? Like, I gotta, now that I finally found it, it's almost like a drug, right? Like, you're like, I need to
Exactly.
continue this high and figure that out. And then, you know, once you do your competitions and stuff, that's like a whole different level
Completely different.
yeah, it's a whole different level of a high as well, because you're like, hey, I'm testing myself and I'm putting myself in these situations that are really hard, and you're in like a small percentage of the people of the community that even choose to step on the mat and do that, right?
Yeah.
And test their limitations, win or lose. But at the end of the day, you're like, I actually did what I was scared of, and I did the hard thing, and you know, I win or lose, I still did it, you know? So I think that test is like what makes me stay like hungry and wanting to do it.
Oh, 100% on two things you said. One,
Yeah.
it's a drug. And people, I think Ari means it's a healthy drugs. Don't do drugs. Just do the jutsu instead, all right? That's number one. Let's clear that out. It's a healthy drug. And number two, it's after the whole drug experience, you get this you do get this superpower, I would say, of like overcoming anything. Like I'm not scared of
Mm-hmm.
doing anything anymore. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like competition gave me that. Me being a coward the last 24 hours before the competition made me realize was overthinking really, and in the end it was such a blast, and it made me realize where my mistakes were and
Right.
how I can get better. And
And then
that's
there's
like
your purpose training, right?
exactly. Oh
You're
man.
like, now I have intentions and I have to figure out. Like, my first competition was horrible. I had like two or three competitions that were just trash. But my first one, I got mounted, and I had like I don't know, I was like, I don't even know what I was doing, honestly, but I got in my head while she was like half mounted on me, and I was like, I'm getting smushed. Like, I'm never going to get out of this, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just stuck here forever now. And
Ref call.
after that competition, I became a guard player. Like, I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? If I'm going to be in this situation, I'm going to make this position my best friend now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be really fucking good at this, and I'm going to now figure out, like, you're not going to ever put me in this situation again, you know? So it's crazy because it's like, you know, you now have that intention with your
Mm-hmm.
training where you're like, okay, I'm not going to be put in this situation, or I'm not going to get tapped like this, or, you know, whatever they did, right? But then at the same time, then you're like, well, now I need to work on my takedowns again. Like,
Yeah.
now I need to it's like never ending, right?
It's a funny story because I find myself a little bit vice versa of that. I love standing up. I love hand fighting. I love judo style throws. I love
They're
wrestling.
so
That's what I
tense.
look at. But I always practice whenever we do our class. I always like to start from the bottom because in case I
Mm,
do fuck up on my top, I have to be ready on the ground. So
right.
even though my strength is top, I always for the past few I'm always practicing in guard, always, and that actually improved my guard game because in case that slip that does happen, I go fuck, here I go, I got the takedown, I missed it. Okay, let me get my butterfly in, let me get him out, let me like chop his arm, like break his post and everything. That made me so much better in jiu-jitsu. But I love pulling guard too, I have to admit. It's fucking awesome.
I won't pull guard, you know. I'll stand up with you, you know what I mean? And then I'll sometimes, I mean, I don't want to like put my whole game out there, but sometimes I'll wait for someone to shoot, and then when they shoot, they
Yeah.
just put their head right in the guillotine. And I'm like, cool, take me down. Put me where I want,
Yeah.
you
Take your
know.
two
But
points. Get your
no,
two
I'll stand
points.
up
I don't
and
give
I'll
a shit.
fight with people.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, it's fine.
I
You can
really
have the
pull
points.
guard.
I'm gonna submit it right now. But yeah, I'll
Exactly.
stand up with
I
people,
think I pull guard
and
more when
I'll
I'm
try.
tired, though.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
good to try.
exactly.
Even just like I
Mm-hmm.
find like I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a wrestler or a judo background, but I love that. I look at a lot of that stuff. But I love hand fighting. I love doing collar ties. I love pushing people. I had my first competition. A guy thought I was a wrestler just based on my hand fighting. And my coach always teaches me every connection you got to break it. Just constantly go for a connection, keep him guessing, all that. And just by doing that, collar ties, all that shit, this guy thought I scared him. Thought I was a wrestler.
Nice.
And I was
Like, why
like,
are you letting
yeah,
him grab
I was like, I done a couple of wrestling back in the day. Not really. Just hand fighting. That's my trick, guys. Don't for the takedowns. Just do hand fighting. Just do that. You'll scare them. They'll pull guard instantly. Get you 2 points.
Just do those like really hard collar ties where you're just like
Smack
semi-slapping
them.
them.
Or just walking like this with your arms. Like, would you ever? Now that you're doing this and the smacking, would you ever consider doing combat jiu-jitsu? Have you seen that? It's intense.
I have definitely seen it because I do hop in with Eddie every now and then, and he's kind of like the organizer with all the CJJ stuff. So I went and I saw Lisa live, and it was wild. Like,
it is.
It's pretty crazy because in my experience of what I've watched, the girls go way more crazy than the guys do with hitting. Yeah. And it's not like when they're like, oh, it's slapping. Like, it's not slapping. They're like using this part of their palm.
Yeah.
Drawing all the way back right here. And then they're like coming down on you, right? So I've seen people like break noses, like just gushing blood and stuff. And I feel like that's like harder than like sometimes punching based off of like where they're at, you know?
You made a good point, actually, because the reason why I'm bringing up this question is I think most men feel embarrassed to slap, but what they don't realize is I think it was Bas Rutten, who's a fucking legend kickboxer fighter, explained this in detail somewhere on Instagram that
I think I
the
saw
idea
that
of punching, you saw that, the punching versus hitting over here, you can kill someone with this. It's faster than the punch. And
it's like the length.
The length, yeah. Like a punch versus like this, it's instant. You save a couple inches. And slapping someone on the ear or punching their face on the ear, on the neck is super effective. And that's why, like he was saying, in the UFC, normally people, like, they don't go for that type of hit because it's unusual. It's not manly, but it's super sharp. I wouldn't want to get that. I don't know. I'd rather take a punch. I don't know. I'd rather take a punch to the body than one of those things. They scare me.
Yeah,
and when
so
you
I don't
hear
know
the slap,
that I would. I feel like I don't know. I did try like a Muay Thai class. I'm not sure. Like, I'm okay with hitting people. I don't really want to get hit back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could handle it. And from all of the people that I know that have done combat jiu-jitsu, because I have like a few friends that are really good at it, they're just like, it's completely different. Like, your mindset on that is completely different because your cardio and whatnot, you're like worrying about getting hit, so you can't do your typical escapes, you can't do your typical attacks. Like, it changes your jiu-jitsu completely because you're constantly like doing this.
You just made me think of a new sport. Imagine they do gi combat jiu-jitsu. You got a lapel, you got a slap. It's called MMA, Marco, with pajamas, but it's intense. It's a new. I just made my new sport. Pajama slap jitsu. Pajama slap jitsu.
It's like that car jiu-jitsu. Have you seen that one?
Oh, I think it's people in Russia do that. Or there's telephone booth jiu-jitsu. There's car booth jiu-jitsu. There's jiu-jitsu in a dark room or some shit like that. It's just like random stuff. Yeah, it's random stuff. And
the car one is the best.
Yeah, car one's the best because they start from the seat buckle, right? They're like, oh, seat buckle choke.
I'll choke airbags. You with this.
Just hit the airbag on purpose so they fucking die of explosion. Oh man. But you know what? I'll be honest. Like, slap jiu-jitsu, like combat jiu-jitsu, people say it's crazy. I don't find it's as crazy as a power slap. Have you seen power slap from the UFC? Holy crap! Taking a punch on
where they like knock purposely. Out, right?
Like UFC can.
That's
at least
where they get knocked out, right?
Yeah, they get knocked out. Like they hit him like close to the ears and the face. Like one person. There's a meme on Instagram or on the internet that the person got slapped out so hard that their face, like, I guess bruised up or inflamed instantly. Like their face is crazy. Like Two-Face from Batman or something. It's like his face exploded. Severely dangerous.
That's like, I feel like that's CTE, you know, like just waiting.
Yeah.
They're for sure going to get some kind of trauma for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy
I can't watch
new sports out there. So when people complain about jiu-jitsu, we have all these other sports that they're not complaining about, like, you know, power slap and jiu-jitsu in the dark or jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. It's a weird world. So Ari, before we end our show, I want to ask you, I love people who do jiu-jitsu and I love parents who do jiu-jitsu because it's a little bit more extra for me, because sometimes for you people who are not parents yet or want to be a parent, there's extra stress in our life and people say we're always busy. But Ari, for you being a jiu-jitsu parent, what advice would you give to people who want to start jiu-jitsu? Oh yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
Take your first class. I feel like I was so scared to do it, and you know, once I just hopped in there, I fell in love completely, you know? So I would say go and do it. I would say if you're a female, shop around. Don't just take your first gym. Go in and find girls in the gym and speak to women in the gym and get that vibe. And then I would say just hit it hard, hit the ground running. If you think about competing and it's even a small speck of like a consideration, do it, even if it's early, because like we were talking about, it gives you purpose to your training and it's such a different level of like accomplishment. Yeah, but I think that 100%. Overall it just helps with, you know, anger issues and stress levels. And like you were saying with parents and whatnot, it's like, I don't have to be angry right now. I can wait until Friday night when I get to choke people legally on the mat, you know? So that's right. It's totally worth it. And if you're scared to choke people, yeah, exactly. If you're scared to choke people, and, you know, you can always take baby steps into it too. It doesn't have to be intimidating or for people that are, you know, overly aggressive. Sometimes it is a gentle art, as weird as that sounds. You know, you can do your flow rolls and find people that are safe to roll with.
That is awesome. And also to add on what you just said is, even if you try jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, karate, whatever the hell you guys want to try, at least you had the guts to try something new and challenge yourself. That's what I think it's all about. Just challenge yourself. Stop being at home and fucking Netflix and watching movies and shit, and be a good example for, I don't know, your kids, yourself, your friends, your family. Just fucking do it. Do it. I guess so. That's my speech.
Yeah.
I'll end it with that, Ari. I want to thank you so very much again for coming on. Me and Ari were supposed to do matchy today, but she didn't get the memo. We have to wear the same rashi today, but maybe next show, guys, we'll be matchy.
Next time.
Next time. All right, nerds. Until next time, have a good roll. Whoosh.